It's that time of year when I'm craving a great pasta salad, but all I can find in the store is thick, mayonnaisey, stodgy rubbish. So today we're going to make 3 fresh, vibrant and easy to pull off pasta salad recipes, with a few simple tricks to take your pasta salads from good to great. Let's kick things off with a tuna, lemon and caper version. First things first is the pasta. I'm using fusilli for this recipe, but any shape will work well. All of the recipes in this video are based on using 250 grams of dried pasta. This is enough to feed around 4 to 6 people as part of a barbecue or some sort of spread of food. If you want to make more, just simply double, triple or quadruple the recipes. Place the pasta into boiling, heavily salted water. The packet of this fusilli says an 8-minute cook time, so I'm setting a timer for 9 minutes. Al dente pasta salad is not good. Tender pasta is what we want. Into a small saucepan, add 100 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil. Place that onto a low heat and gently bring it up to around 125 Celsius, 255 Fahrenheit. Once up to temperature, add some drained, rinsed and dried capers. Fry them for a few minutes while stirring until they burst open and start to look crispy around the edges. Strain them, catching the oil in a heat-proof container, then set them to one side to cool down. If you've never had crispy capers before, these little umami bombs absolutely rock. Once your pasta is at its just over al dente stage, fish one piece out and give it a bite. We want it to be tender but not mushy. When you're happy, drain it and place it into a bowl with a drizzle of olive oil. Give it a toss and leave it to cool down on the side. Don't be tempted to rinse that pasta under cold water. You'll end up with a soggy salad. And let's be sure to keep Italy happy. Into a mixing bowl, zest 1 lemon, add the juice of half of that lemon, finely grate or mince 1 clove of garlic, 1 heaped teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a finely chopped bunch of parsley, around half a cup once chopped, some picked thyme leaves, around a tablespoon, a teaspoon of honey, this could also be a teaspoon of sugar, and a little pinch of salt. Mix all of that together whilst pouring in the infused olive oil from earlier until you have a delicious, zesty dressing. Give it a taste. It should be balanced between sweet, sour and salty. If yours isn't, then add more honey, lemon juice or salt, whatever you feel it needs. Mine needs a touch of lemon juice. Now add the cooled pasta, 2/3 of the crispy capers and roughly half a tin of tuna. I'm taking out the nice big chunks I have from this can, saving them for later and adding the smaller flakes to the bowl now. Mix everything really well. Make sure all that pasta is coated in that glorious dressing. We don't want any dry spots. Give it a taste, make sure you're happy, then plate it up onto your favorite platter and top with the remaining tuna flakes and crispy capers. This is delicious. The crispy capers bring a zesty saltiness that's backed up by the lemon. All in all, a really well-rounded pasta salad. Next, onto a roasted pepper and chili recipe. For the pasta, it's exactly the same process. Add it into a pan of boiling salted water. This time, I'm using rigatoni, and the packet says a 14-minute cook time, so I'm setting my timer for 15 minutes. Onto a roasting tray, place 1 large red pepper, 1 large yellow pepper, and 1 large orange pepper, or the equivalents of. Drizzle with olive oil and season generously with salt. Then mix everything really well with your hands. We need that oil coating the peppers, not as a puddle on the tray. Plus, extra virgin olive oil is great for your skin. That's what an old Italian chef used to tell me anyway. Place the tray into a preheated 200 Celsius, 395 Fahrenheit oven for 10 minutes. Then give the peppers a flip, turn the tray and place it back into the oven for another 10 minutes until the skin is crispy, blackened in areas and starting to come away from the flesh like this. Cover them with another tray, a dish or some aluminium foil and leave them to sit for 10 or 15 minutes to cool down. Covering them like this and letting them steam for a while makes it much easier to remove the skin. By this point, your pasta should be about done. At the 15-minute mark, this rigatoni still had too much bite for me, so I cooked it for another minute. Drain it, place it into a bowl with a drizzle of olive oil, then leave it to cool down on the side. Once your peppers have had their 10 minutes or more of steaming and cooling and are cool enough to handle, you can start to peel off the skins. You want to do this whilst they're still a little warm, but please don't burn yourself. This will be easy in places and sometimes a little more stubborn in others. Get a bowl to catch any valuable juices. This stuff is gold dust. Get every drop you can. Once you have the skin off, make an incision in the pepper and drain out any remaining juice. Then slice them open and take out any seeds and any big bits of white pith. Cut them into strips around the same size as your pasta shape. This means they'll get tangled up amongst the pasta. If you were to do a small dice, for example, then they would mostly be sat in the bottom of the bowl. Into a large mixing bowl, add 1 finely minced garlic clove, 2 teaspoons of dried chili flakes. This could be more or less, or a fresh chili, 50 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil, a handful of basil leaves with no stalks, around about a cup, a little finely grated parmesan and a pinch of salt. Give all of that a mix, then add the sliced peppers, the pepper juice that we saved, and the pasta. Mix everything well, making sure there are no dry spots. You can add a little more olive oil if it looks a little dry in places. Give it a taste, adding more seasoning if you feel it needs it. it. Plate up on your other favourite platter, garnish with a bit more parmesan and a few more basil leaves. This salad is super fresh. It has a slight pesto thing going on with the basil and the parmesan, and a great sweetness from the peppers. Next up is my favourite one of the day, an Italian-style chicken recipe. First things first, let's prepare the chicken. Here I have 4 chicken thighs with the skin on. Pat them dry with some paper towel if there's any moisture on the surface. Then place them onto a roasting tray and season them with an equal mix of cracked black pepper, dried oregano and salt. This is 2 teaspoons of each. And of course you can use any other seasoning that you like. Season the top, the bottom and the sides, absolutely everything. At this point you could place them into your fridge to marinate for 1 to 12 hours, or roast them straight away like I am today. Roast them at 180 Celsius, 355 Fahrenheit for around 25 minutes till the center of the thigh reads at least 90 Celsius, 185 Fahrenheit. This is important because we want chicken that's falling off the bone. Next, cook the pasta. I'm using fusilli again this time because I really like the way it grabs all the ingredients in this salad. So exactly the same as before, cook it until tender, drain it, place it into a bowl and toss with some olive oil, then leave it to cool down. Once the chicken is cool enough to handle, take the skin off and shred the meat into pieces around the same size as your pasta. But hold on, don't waste that beautiful skin. It has tons of flavour, but the texture isn't for everyone, especially when it's served cold. So just run your knife through it a few times until you have a fine dice. It may not look the most appealing like this, but when it's mixed through the salad, you won't see it, and the flavour it brings is on another level. Into a mixing bowl, add 2 garlic cloves, finely minced, 225 grams of cherry tomatoes cut in half. A super quick and easy way to cut lots of cherry tomatoes in half is to get a lid that has a slight lip on it, place the tomatoes on top, place another lid on top of that and slice through with a serrated knife. It's a great trick. Back to the bowl, add around 20 olives sliced, half a red onion finely sliced. If you don't like that raw onion flavour that can sometimes be a bit harsh, then put the sliced onion into cold water for 10 minutes. 50 millilitres, roughly 3 tablespoons of olive oil, some finely grated parmesan, around a 1/4 cup, and the chicken meat and skin. Mix all of that well and taste it for seasoning. I'm going to add a squeeze of lemon juice to brighten things up a little and help to cut through some of that fat. Then add the cooled pasta and a handful of rocket, also known as arugula. Mix that well again and give it a taste. Serve onto one of your favourite platters and enjoy. This is definitely more of a substantial pasta salad recipe. It's got protein from the chicken and a good mix of vegetables and flavours. This recipe can easily stand alone as a complete meal. If you're looking for another summer barbecue recipe, check this video out next for one of the best recipes to come out of Greece.